Chapter 44, The Third Random Summon Game, 1. Ding dong. A new skill option has been opened. Skill Option 3, Simulation Mode. You can run a virtual simulation of the topographical data you have obtained from your surveying skill. This will allow you to observe various physical changes that occur within the terrain. Huh? Lloyd blinked several times. Did he blink because the beads of sweat streaked down his forehead and went into his eyes? No. It was because of the message that popped up in front of him. He couldn't believe what it read. Wow. What is this? An optional enhancement for my design skill? And skill was no other than simulation, the very skill he had direly wanted to have. This was a reward he never thought nor expected to earn. But Lloyd didn't remain dazed. He quickly jumped into action. From the survey and design skills to the Azrahan core technique, he had thoroughly experienced the power of these optional skills. The same applied here. Actions speak louder than words. He could read a manual for 100 days or watch a tutorial over and over again for an entire day. But the best way to master a game was to play right away and learn while getting cursed out by other players. And so, Lloyd activated his design skill at once. Design. Crackle. A virtual hologram appeared in front of him. It was only visible to Lloyd and no one else. Lloyd imported the data from the survey of the Merit's wetland into it. Crackle. The terrain of the Merit's wetland appeared in the virtual design space. This process was the same as all the other surveys and designs he had done prior. Except for one thing. There was now a selection window at the bottom of the virtual space. Simulation Mode ON. This is the one. Lloyd knew immediately what it would do. He pressed the window. Skill Option 3, Simulation Mode has been activated. The topographical data of the current virtual design will be available for simulation. BZZT. The background of the space brightened. Numerous lines and dots appeared on the Merit's wetlands terrain. It looked like a 3D graphic model. I wonder if I can operate it similarly. He wondered if that would be the case. So he held out his hand and pinched the line that formed a mound. Then, he pulled it up. Crash! The peak of the mound pulled upward, following Lloyd's fingers. Now, the small mound turned into a high hill that sat in the corner of the Merit's wetland. The murky mud and water that once surrounded the area consequently streamed down to the lower ground. Wow! He felt like he had become a god. He also felt like he was in a simulation game using a terrain editor. This is awesome. Lloyd swallowed unwittingly. He was a civil engineering student. And civil engineering involved more than only constructing buildings. No, putting up buildings and structures is what architectural engineers do. Civil engineers do much more than just put up buildings. There was a quote from a famous movie that said the wind was something to overcome, not prepare for. Lloyd thought civil engineering approached topographic evaluations in the same way. Well, it's not completely similar. Topography is to be overcome and prepared for. That is, the goal of civil engineering was to plan and alter various terrains to enrich human lives. It drilled through mountains to create tunnels. It repaired jagged coastlines and then built ports. It studied and overcame numerous terrains to build roads and railways. It designed sewer systems and reclaimed lands or split them at times. It built bridges on top of steep cliffs, allowing people to connect with one another. Since the beginning of humanity, the very area of study that exercised the most influence on humankind was civil engineering. That was what Lloyd believed. Therefore, meticulously studying and testing the terrain was necessary to accomplish such a goal. And now, I have such a weapon in my hands. I have it. He clenched his fists. It was after that Lloyd destroyed the miniature version of the wetland he had installed at the back of his yard. He then zoomed off to take a bath and scraped the mud off his body. For 5 straight days, he then isolated himself from the world by shutting himself in his bedroom. Embankments and waterways were added and erased on the virtual Merit's wetland. He added them again. And he erased them once more. This took place over and over again. He ran the simulation as many times as he could. He meticulously went over the wetland development plan and reviewed it on repeat. And thanks to it, Lloyd was able to touch up the construction model he had completed in his backyard. Now, it was more sophisticated. While all of this was happening, Javier was forced to stay at Lloyd's side and serve him. "Master Lloyd, it is time for your lunch." "MHM. Just leave it there. I think it best you eat now." "Now? But I'm busy. Can you not talk to me? But you didn't even finish the breakfast I served you." "Hey! Are you nagging me right now?" "I am only speaking out of concern." "Concern? You? About me?" "Yes." "No way. You're worried about me? Look here. Who are you? Where did you hide my dear Javier? It's a joke. Can't you see that I'm trying to focus right now? Yes. My serious expression and eyes. Can't you see them? No, I cannot. But..." Javier sighed at length. "I want to tell you that you have been fumbling your hands in front of nothing all day like someone who has lost their mind." "Oh, you are Javier, indeed, given your subtle insults. But, too bad for you, I have not gone mad." Lloyd nonchalantly replied as he floundered his hands in the air. Actually, Lloyd understood where Javier was coming from. After all, this simulation space is visible only in my eyes. And even now, Lloyd was delicately controlling the landform of the wetland he projected on the simulation space. He was testing out various ways to employ the vertical drain technique. But of course, that wouldn't be visible to Javier's eyes. To him, Lloyd would simply be making weird motions in the air. "I am just thinking here. Haven't you heard? How people's senses are concentrated in their hands. So moving your hands like this stimulates your senses and triggers brain activity. Anyway, I seriously need to focus." "But, Master Lloyd, you must not skip your meals," Javier stated at Lloyd. "Oh, come on. You are not my mother. If this goes on, I shall have to tell on the Baroness that you are not eating at all." "TSK, I can't," Lloyd huffed. "Excuse me? I said I can't think because of all your blabbering, you goody two-shoes." "Fine. Will you come over here then and take a seat on this comfy chair for a second?" "What are you trying to do?" Javier asked, his voice sounding incredulous. "If you sit down quietly, I will eat my lunch." "Do you really mean it? Do you really think I'm trying to trick you?" "I will sit." Javier took a seat. A mischievous smile formed on Lloyd's face. "Yes, good. Just take a break for a while." In principle, the pack drain, PD, method is the same as the sand drain or paper drain method. 4 of 6 12 cm diameter casings attached to a dedicated punching machine are simultaneously pressed into the ground. The installation depth can be up to 35 cm, and the installation diameter is 12 cm, making it workable. Blah blah. Eh? What are? Snore. An ambush lullaby service. He gave a passionate reading, recalling the words of the civil engineering textbook. Javier started to look absent-minded, and his eyes soon lost focus. He then started to doze off, his body slowly leaning to the side. Lloyd gently reached out and supported Javier's leaning body, nudging it toward the back of the chair. The forceful lullaby service went on so that Javier would completely knock out. The type of plastic board drain, PBD, can be divided into two. The first is a non-woven drainage material, and a needle-punch non-woven plate with a thickness of about 5 mm is about 100 mm wide. There you go. Go fall asleep, BOOP. Snore. Javier fell into a deep sleep. And now that Lloyd had created a suitable environment for work, he went back to concentrate on the simulation mode. 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days passed. Javier's nagging and the lullaby defense became a daily occurrence. And the reclamation project for the Merritt's wetland started to shape up. "I'm done." On the 5th day. At last, the corners of Lloyd's lips rose in satisfaction. Now, it was time to put together a team for the project and get his hands on the heavy equipment. Black Club Hash. Hey, Padong? Bangull? Padong. Bangull. The moon shone brightly that night. Lloyd was out in his backyard. And of course, Lloyd made sure that Javier was deep asleep. I'm thinking of summoning a new friend. Padong? Bangull? I just think that it'd be better if you two came and watched me. Lloyd grinned. Tonight, he was planning on picking a new summoning partner. It was for the reclamation project that was expected to start soon. I hope something connected to water comes out. But I don't mind even if that isn't the case. I just need one that's as large as you both. The Merritt's Wetland Reclamation Project. The vertical drain method would be employed for the project. The vertical drain method. In short, it referred to drilling several holes in the floor of the wetland and inserting plastic drain boards to solidify the weak foundation. The survey showed me that the wetland resembled Netherlands terrain before it was reclaimed. The low-level ground had stagnated with mud and muddy water for a long time. The thick peat deposit was full of water. Not only that, it was mushy and easily sunk down. But what if Lloyd successfully drained the water there? Things become easier. Once water was sucked out of the peat deposit, it became compressed downward because of its weight. This phenomenon was called consolidation. So it's crucial to drain the water first. But I don't have any equipment for VD. Not even a pump to suck out water. However, there were, of course, replacements he could use. Javier could use his mana blast to bore holes in the ground. And the summon partners could scoop the water out of the wetland. That's why Lloyd was standing alone at night with Padong and Bangull to pick another summon partner. Hey, Padong? Bangull? Padong. Bangull. I wish the new guy could scoop water just as good as you all can, Lloyd spoke, meaning every word. Padong and Bangull were excellent at scooping water. Padong used his giant cheeks to hold huge amounts, and Bangull used her bloating stomach as a bucket. They could easily hold and transfer as much water as common water tanks. This was essentially possible because of the gigantic size these two grew when they ate the red sunflower seed. Other summon partners should be similar. I just need to have 4 or 5 summon partners that can grow as large as Padong or Bangull. Nothing more. Each summon partner held varying special powers and abilities. Most of them became massive when they changed shape. Lloyd planned on taking good advantage of their sheer size. I don't give a hoot about what its special power is. It'll be icing on the cake if it's connected to water, but I won't push my luck. I simply need a big one. One that can transport water, whether that's with its mouth or another body part. He had low expectations. I was very lucky until now. Padong and Bangull. These two helped Lloyd by providing him with the most critical skills at the time. However, it would be for the better not to hope to strike such luck again, Lloyd thought to himself. With that thought, Lloyd opened the random summon window. Ding dong. Random summon game. Spend RP to pick a summon. A strong and unique summon partner will provide their unwavering loyalty along with a wide range of skills to their master. Cost of third random summon game equals 100 RP. The cost of picking a new summon partner was increased by 1.5 times. But it's all right. I've been frugal with my RP, and I have saved up. Lloyd checked how much RP he had. He has a whopping amount of 931, 20 of which were garnered from the recent trip, or picnic, to the wetland with the Baron. I have enough RP. Sometimes, a rush of impulse shot through him whenever he earned RP, and he thought about spending it rashly. But he kept a tight rein, reminding himself that RP was his last resort in case of emergencies. And now, he was glad that he fought that impulse. The goal is to pick 4 summon partners that are the size of Padong and Bangull and can carry water. If each pick cost 1.5 more RP than the previous pick. Lloyd calculated that he would need about 800 RP. Let's give it a try. Determined, Lloyd gazed downward. Would you like to start the random summon game? Yes or no? Without a second of hesitation, he selected yes. The random summon game is starting. Whoosh! A magic circle appeared in the air. A pale light enveloped his whole surrounding. The space rumbled, summoning a silhouette Lloyd could not recognize right away. The first thing he saw was a round-shaped body. Then, its head appeared next. It was round as well. The buttocks too. Round. Legs? Round. Its overall silhouette was round like a ball. Wait, it's not going to be the same kind as Padorn, is it? Lloyd focused his gaze and observed his new summon partner. And at last, the third summon partner revealed itself, a shock wave shooting out with it. Crackle! Hamang! Something shouted cutely. And it flew toward Lloyd's side and landed into his arms. Lloyd accepted the new summon partner with both of his hands. He felt the plushy and soft texture of the skin on his palms. He immediately checked his new friend. Lloyd's eyes widened. He unconsciously murmured, "Wait, a thirsty hippo? What is he doing here?" Hamang. A small, chubby, and baby pink hippopotamus, whose name was Hamang, smiled brightly as he looked up at Lloyd from his palm.